Street Talk! Yeah!
Welcome to Street Talk. I am your host, Jason, and this is for Wednesday, February the 18th. Doesn't get any better than this. Probably the best rivalry, in my opinion at least, in all of sports. Duke Blue Devils hosting the North Carolina Tar Heels. Say what you want about Boston Red Sox and Yankees and Ohio State and Michigan, but this, the fierce rivalries, the legends of players that pass through, the great games, just doesn't get any better. And where else are you going to find the breakdown but on Street Talk? Well, the prop is, will Duke win by double digits versus a Carolina win or single-digit loss? Looking at the line, Duke minus 8.5 points. It's been pretty solid. Hasn't really had a lot of fluctuation one way or the other. So if you're going Tar Heels, you're getting a free point. Looking at the computer sims, I did about 4 or 5 computer sims, averaged their margin of victory, and I came up with Duke 7.6 average margin of victory. So in that situation, you're getting about 2 free full points if you went Carolina. You're laying 2 extra, obviously, if you go with Duke. KenPom ratings, Duke 8th, Carolina 16th. So really right there, I know Duke has one of the better home court advantages in America, but we're also talking about a double-digit prop. So as far as statistics goes, how do we break this down? Points per game, Duke 8th in the nation, 80.3 points a game. UNC 17th in the nation, 78.7 points a game. Rebounding, this is where the Tar Heels, if they're going to win this game or at least keep it close, have to use their advantage. They are second in the nation in rebounds, 42.3 rebounds per game, while Duke is back to 35. It's 37.9 points a game. Here's where Jahlil Okafor is going to come in. We know he's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft. If he gets in foul trouble, really the advantage that Carolina already has is going to become that much more, as the backup Plumlee and the smaller size Jefferson aren't going to nearly be able to control the boards like Okafor can. So, can Duke crash the boards? Can they get it done? Assists per game, sort of a measure of how well the ball's moving around. Carolina first in the nation in assists per game, sort of surprising, 17.6 assists per game, while Duke is 29th in the nation at 15.4 assists per game. Now, in their last 20 games against each other, it's 10-10, 10 wins each. When Duke wins, they have shot 40% behind the 3-point mark. When they lose, 31%. So there's your key for Duke. Can they knock down the shots outside? If they do, Carolina's going to have to come out and guard them a little bit better. That gives Okafor more room to work inside. If they don't, now Carolina backs all their big men down, going to crash the boards. It probably won't give the Blue Devils a lot of second chance points. So Duke at home this year, obviously they're always good, but they've had sort of some head-scratching games. They got really blown out by Miami at home. They squeaked by a really inferior Georgia Tech team at home. And then they had the revenge game versus Notre Dame, which they won by, 200 points or something. So sort of an up-and-down year for them, at least, when it comes to Cameron Indoor. Now, as I mentioned, in the paint is where Carolina is going to have use their advantage with Isaiah Hicks, Bryce Johnson, and Kennedy Meeks. They are second in major conference teams as far as point differentials scored in the paint. So they are plus 12.8 more points they score than they give up in the paint. And like I said, that's second. So for me, I feel like Carolina has enough to keep this close, if not win it outright. You know, when these teams get together, it's almost always you throw out the records. You never know what's going to happen. Either team can win. And I think the Heels have enough to win. Now, they have lost 3 out of 4. They haven't played well lately. Their defense hasn't been as stout as it was earlier in the year. Surprisingly, earlier in the year, they had one of the top defenses, but that's fallen off a little bit. They are 11-1 when they hold teams under 70 points, and only 7-6 when teams score more than 70 points. So That's sort of the benchmark for Carolina. Can they keep those threes? Can they guard the three well enough to keep the points down and then control the paint? I'm going to take the Heels for the green. Like I said, I think they're advantaged down low, but they have to be aggressive. They have to crash the boards. They have to use all these advantages and not let Okafor go off. Possibly get him in foul trouble. If they do, then they really have an advantage. So Carolina for the green. Hope you guys enjoy the best rivalry in sports. We'll see you next time on Street Talk.